Deep underground, the Jelly Belly factory, BB is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I started again.
Is it pomegranate or old bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough?
And welcome back to WSHIT's News at 11:38. We'll get you up to date before 11:48. It's news you can use before you snooze. Traffic, weather, and breaking stories before you go to bed. I'm Mike DuPage Jr. III, and before we get to breaking sports news, let's go down to weather.
Thanks, Mike, and good afternoon, everyone. Temperatures currently in the lower 70s, headed toward a high today. Come on, asshole. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear your fucking story anyway. That's like typical Mogu. Am I on TV now? Asshole.
It looks like it's cloudy with a chance of severance packages. We'll be back after this commercial break.
On this episode of The Commercial Break.
Let me ask you a question, because I'm curious. Why is it that in porn movies, there's always some dick slapping going on? I mean, under what circumstances does anyone think it's appropriate to smack your dick across anything? And so Eddie poses the question, so Bryan, you want to be involved? Like, do you want to be involved in the questioning on stage? Is that something you'd like to do? And I just thought about it for 1.6 seconds before I was like, no, I do not.
You don't?
No. Bill Burr, real comic. Brian Green, no comic. I think I'm going for a chit chat with Rohan, and here I am at the end of the Peachtree fucking terminal, getting ready to take off in a Cessna. I'm like, holy shit! And so so I'm like, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, ready for takeoff. And he's like, clear for takeoff, go up 10 degrees and right. And he's like, okay, so that means you're gonna head up and then you fly to the left. And he's like, okay, go. And I'm like, oh, so I press the little thing and he's like, go, all the way. And I'm like, ah. And then we're just riding down the runways. Keep it straight. Holy, this thing is going all over. Like, I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm like a fucking
I can only imagine.
Teenager that just drank a bottle of Golden Grain going all over the road.
The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
I had been called to a case on the west side of town. Mrs. Crumpet had lost her hose. And I was gonna find it.
Oh, Mr. Private Detective, I think I found your hose.
I smacked it across her face left and right. Showed her whose hose was boss.
Oh, Mr. Crumpet. Detective Crumpet.
That's Detective Crumpet to you. Watch my hose go.
The case of the missing hose.
Yeah. I found it, and I put it in her bushes. I watered those plants.
Let me ask you a question, because I'm curious. Why is it that in porn movies, there's always some dick slapping going on? I mean, under what circumstances does anyone think it's appropriate to smack your dick across anything? Like, have you ever had a dick on your forehead just like bang, bang? Like,
No, I don't care
Wake
for
up!
that.
Wake up, pussy! Here I come.
like, who started this trend? I'm sorry, but I think it's disturbing. And no one lets me try it. So there you go.
Yeah.
Don't you even dare. But what? Just a little bit. No.
Mrs. Crumpet's like that.
Yeah.
Mrs. Crumpet, did you find my hose?
Man, did I.
Provocateur 3000 presents Private Detective.
Nice.
Sponsored by Disney.
Yeah, right.
Sponsored by Johnson & Johnson Baby Products. I'm Bryan, this is Krissy, and
Happy New Year!
We're well into whatever, and we're still saying Happy New Year, so
Yes.
Congratulations. That's just... Anthony Hopkins won the fucking Oscar? I didn't even know the guy was still alive.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And what movie was he in?
It's called The Father.
The Father?
The Father, yeah. I
Sounds
don't
like
know much about it.
exactly like the shitty kind of movie the Oscars likes to award shit to. What a disaster.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Well, I didn't watch it, but what a disaster.
You just watched the catch up.
I just watched all the
clips.
Yeah, I just watched all everybody bitching about it.
Right.
One guy was like, whoever, Soderbergh is the director. Soderbergh, the guy who did Crash and Traffic and all those movies, right?
Yeah.
Really great director, actually. And so he directed the Oscars. Hence no real, person in charge. And it's supposed to be like a journey through the movies, right?
Yeah.
So his whole intention was to film it like you were, watching a movie or something like that. But from what I saw, it just looked like a bunch of people from random locations talking in bad microphones. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, it was definitely weird.
Yeah, and then I think that obviously someone right beforehand went like this. Anthony, who?
Yeah, that was a big surprise.
How is this possible?
I know.
And then they said, okay, here's the deal. Because everyone's going to tune out directly after this happens, we ought to put this at the very end. Yeah. That was done on purpose. Because how else could they possibly get away with it? I mean, Chadwick. Is that Chadwick Boseman? Is that his name?
I think so, yeah.
Who played the Black Panther, which is such a great fucking movie. And then he was
great.
He was in another movie, and I didn't see it, and I don't give a fuck, because I think the guy should have won the Oscar just for Black Panther alone. I mean, it was a great movie. Talented guy, dies at 43 years old. Obviously, he's the sentimental favorite, and then for those who saw the movie say, it's clearly he wins. Like, it's not even, there's no contention.
Yeah, he was really good in that movie.
And then they give it to Anthony fucking Hopkins, who's 84 years old. Now, granted, he's going to die soon, too, and he's done a lot of wonderful movies, but he's already won an Oscar. Give it up. Didn't he win for Silence of the whatever's? Sounds of the Sheep or whatever the fuck that movie is. That's a great movie too.
Yeah.
I had with some cold wine and some fava bean, a cold Chianti and some fava bean.
Yes.
Scary as I was like 12 and I was like, holy shit.
That movie still makes me scared of storage units.
I put station in the basket. What's that song? He's that guy. That creepy like 80s song.
Yeah, dancing around.
And he's dancing around.
He's got his skin.
Yeah, he's got his dick all tucked. That's a crazy fucking movie. It's a crazy movie that was so brilliantly put together. And rightfully so, Anthony Hopkins won. And then he went on to do a bunch of great other movies, of which I can't remember any of them. But, the truth is, he's a well-respected actor.
He's great, yes.
He's 83 years old. And now he didn't even expect to win. He's in some Scottish countryside with his fucking sheep behind him, giving a speech on Twitter like, thank you very much. I didn't expect this. I'm going to go back to my Chianti and fava beans. Appreciate this. I want to be left alone to die in peace. Somebody asked me to do a damn movie. I needed $500,000, so I did it to keep my estate here mowed because it's 17,000 acres of grass.
Right.
What are these people? Go live in Hollywood. Live in New York. Come on, Anthony. Get it together. The fuck? Now, and never mind. I'm not even going to say it. Anthony, this Boseman kid should have won, and I'm disappointed that he didn't. Even though I had zero interest in any of this shit this week, I just felt like I think that's right. I think everyone should be upset about that. The brand new TCBpodcast.com is where you go to find all the show notes. You can read more about Krissy and I, and you can get access to our entire library, audio and video. And we're on YouTube. YouTube.com/The Commercial Break. 470-584-8449 is where you can text us or leave us a message. Or you can go to @The Commercial Break on the Instagram. On the Instagram there, you can DM us anything you want to. Feel free to leave us more hate comments. We love it. Keep it coming.
Yes.
Here's the thing about our Instagram account. It'll go up by like 10 people a day, but it'll go down by like 4 people a day. So we like net 6. Did you notice that? Have you noticed this? It goes up and then it goes down and then it goes up.
I didn't realize people were unsubscribing.
Lots of people are unsubscribing. So now either one of two things is happening. I think that most of this is like spammy people who they're like, oh, hello, Mr. Whatever, I can help you get 200 million subscribers. And then you go to their page and they have one post and they've got 1.6 million friends. Follows, and you're like, what the fuck? How did you do that? And this, for a second, you think about it. You're like, for $24, what I got to lose? Right? But we get we get 2 or 3 of those a day. So I think what's happening is as Instagram goes and weeds those people out, our numbers go down. But it's awful frustrating. Take 2 steps forward and 1 step back.
Maybe Henry Fonda can help.
Henry Fonda.
Yeah.
Let's ask him later on in the show. And so then you can go to Clubhouse, of course. Last night, we're recording this on Monday, but last night we had Caroline Ray Monday in the club Only Joking Room with Eddie Brill. Eddie Brill's a guy who used to book the Dave Letterman Show, the comedians on the Dave Letterman Show. He's a well-respected comic and comedy mentor. And so he's doing a room with us inside of the Comedy Podcast Club.
That's so cool.
It's
I know.
incredible.
I tuned in last night.
Yeah, you did.
Listen.
Yeah, we got
there in the room.
It was so interesting. We managed to get Krissy on the app. And then this week, if you're listening to this on, in the May 1st week, May 2nd, which is this Sunday, we are going to have Bill Burr, then Stephen Wright, and then Susie Essman from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I love her. Yeah. I love all those
fucking
people.
insane.
Yeah. It's incredible.
To be up on stage with Bill Burr. And so we were kind of like having a little meeting last night, a little chat, little after room kind of powwow and see what we can do better and what we can do next time.
Yeah.
And so Eddie poses the question. So Bryan, you want to be involved? Like, do you want to be involved in the questioning on stage? Is that something you'd like to do? And I just thought about it for 1.6 seconds before I was like, no, I do not.
You don't?
No. Bill Burr, real comic. Bryan Green, no comic. Bill Burr, most notorious man in comedy. Bryan Green has an edit button. Nope, no thanks. I appreciate it, but I'll keep on saying people's names. That's what I do.
That's what you do.
Doug, do you have a question? Bob, you're next. That's what I do. And
you moderate it.
And I'm all too happy to be sitting on the stage with it. But I will say that something surreal. So anyway, follow us on Clubhouse. If you need an invite, we have now thousands of them. Clubhouse has now given Comedy Podcast Club.
They've released the hounds.
They've released the hounds. And so we have thousands of invites. You are welcome to them. We're going to put posts on our social media and everywhere. You'll see it. And if you need we're going to put a link. You just hit that link and then you can skip the line. You don't even need an invitation. You just download the app. You can RSVP for Bill Burr this weekend, May 2nd, 2021, in case you're listening to this in 2027 or something like that. But a funny thing happened last night. So we're trying to get this whole shit bag together, right? It's like a lot of coordinating parts and pieces. And I don't know, like this Caroline Ray is coming on last night. I don't know Caroline Ray, right? She's not my friend. We're not buddies. It's not like I can pick up the phone.
Before.
No, I can't pick up the phone and call Caroline Ray. And one of the things that you have to do in order to get someone into a room on the stage with you is they have to follow you. It's one of these quirks about the app so that then I can pull her in essentially onto stage. And if I don't, then she gets lost in the crowd. It's embarrassing for everybody. It's just a big disaster, right? Yeah. So for like the entire weekend, I'm like, okay, I just need Caroline to follow me. Like I'm telling Eddie, just have Caroline follow me so I make sure she's on stage. Yep. Eddie sends a message, but she responds to other things, but doesn't say I'm following Bryan. And I can see that she's not following me.
Right.
So what you don't see that's going on last night is like 7.5 minutes beforehand, there's this like mad dash to figure out if we're even going to have a guest tonight.
Yeah.
We've promised all these people that Caroline Ray's going to be in there and she's not following us. So I'm like, holy fucking shit. So Eddie goes, here's her cell phone number. Get a hold of her. Okay. And I was like, I just got a little starstruck for a moment. I was like, how do you text the celebrity?
Right.
How do you do that?
Hey there.
I had just watched. Hey, Bryan Green.
A
guy from the commercial break.
Yeah,
TCB.
Podcast.
TCBpodcast.com. You never been there? No. Oh. Huh. That's a good oversight on your part. My people haven't called your people?
Yeah.
That hasn't happened yet? Are we lunching? Are we going to lunch after Corona? What's going on?
Yeah.
So I text her and I'm like, okay. So it takes me 3.5 minutes just to write the text.
Right.
It's exactly one sentence because I'm like,
what do I say? How do I
hey,
word
Caroline.
it?
No, I should probably say hi, Caroline, because Hay's a little slow. So hi, Caroline, exclamation point. Should I put an exclamation point? That sounds a little needy, doesn't it? Okay. How about ... No, ... The lips is bad. Okay. All right. Hi. Hey. Okay. Back to hey. Hey, she's a comedian. She knows how to take that, right? She's cool. Hey, Caroline. Did I spell Caroline right? Oh, is there an I in Caroline? I can't remember. Is it I or Y? Let me go check IMDb.
I'm totally picturing you going
oh my God. I was like a nervous mess. And I'm like, okay, hi, Caroline, ... It's Bryan. And then I'm like, Bryan? Who the fuck is Bryan? Who does she care? She probably gets 10 Bryans a day texting her saying it's Bryan. Should I just throw a dick pic up there? Maybe she'll pay attention then. Like, what do I do in this circumstance? So what I say, there's just blood everywhere. I'm sorry. I just cut my leg and there's blood everywhere. But that's okay. We'll keep on going with the show. Hey, don't worry about it. If you get a little blood on your foot, don't worry about it. So then I'm like, okay, ... Hey, it's Bryan, from Clubhouse. And I just don't even know what to say after that. Anything that I could possibly say is going to sound fucking needy. Yeah, and it's just so... I know she's going to think this is spam. So I'm like, hey, it's Bryan. I am moderating the room tonight that you're coming in at 9. And I'm like trying to respect my grammar. Eddie Brill asked me to reach out to you. Right? Can you please follow me at Bryan Green? And it's just like, holy, literally my mind was racing. And I see that the clock is winding down and I have no time to make this all work. So I just shot off some casual. Hey, Caroline, follow me at Bryan Green. I'm like, hey, Caroline, follow me at Bryan Green. Or you're going to get lost in the crowd. That's what I said.
Did she write you back or did she just follow you?
She did not write me back. She followed me. She probably was like, I'm not going to engage this motherfucker.
Let me just follow.
But then when she gets on, she says, oh, Bryan, I was just listening to you. And she mentioned my name a couple times.
Yeah.
So I thought that was just an invitation to start a conversation, but clearly it was not because Eddie was like, and on with my show. And I was like, oh, sorry, I'll just sit over here and do my thing. Love Eddie Brill. He's so wonderful.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings. How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Why the fuck does USPS, the United States Postal Service, why are they running commercials?
They are?
On our television stations.
Really?
Don't we pay for this shit?
Yeah.
Isn't this coming out of our tax dollars?
Yes.
Why are we running? Who in the fuck is just learning about the United States Postal Service?
Who doesn't know about
I
it?
learned about this in kindergarten.
Aren't they in debt too?
They're highly in debt. Yeah. They lose like $1 billion a year.
They're spending money to advertise.
Even while they're still delivering all of those Amazon packages, they're still finding a way to lose money because it's a government service. And, they just can't. Why do something right? Why do something... What is it? Why do something inexpensively when you can do it at twice the price? It's like the United States government just can't seem to get their shit together. And now they are spending money on USPS commercials, and I'm seeing them everywhere.
What did it say?
It's like, if you need packages on time, call UPS or USPS. We'll get there a couple days later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was bad for a while.
Mailmen like to blow shit up. And I mean, it's just like, they say the most mundane shit. It is supposed to make a warm and fuzzy commercial with this swooning music that's supposed to make you feel some way about the USPS, when all I know is my ballot was late, you can't get my shit to my front door on time, and while I love my personal postman, nothing ever happens on time at the post office.
No,
and I got to stand in line for 10 hours for a passport. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Don't put a commercial on air. Hire some more people. That's what you need to do, is hire some more people at a living fucking wage so that we can actually have a postal service that runs. The one thing that separates us, one of the things that separates us from the rest of the fucking shitty ass world is this: the United States Postal Service. The fact that you can put something in your mailbox out front of your house and then have it anywhere in the world within 10 days for a song and a dance is the most amazing thing that has ever happened to the United States of, one of the most amazing things that ever happened to the United States of America. It is what sets us apart as a modern civilized society, that we can communicate in this manner very cheaply and very quickly. Right now, I realize the internet kind of fucked things up for you, USPS, But the fact is, if I have to get a check to somebody or a box or a birthday present or a card or, pipe bomb or whatever I'm sending to people.
Pipe bomb.
Cocaine.
Stick it in the mail.
Cocaine. All I do is I stick it in the mail and there it goes. I don't know how it gets there. I'm not curious at all about how it gets there, but there's some planes, trains, and automobiles, and then it gets there. What I do know is that I know that that's what you do.
Right.
I have no question marks about why that little blue and white truck is stopping by my house every day.
Right.
Why do you feel the need to spend money? That's right. Don't do it. Stop it. Leave that. Amazon doesn't even advertise.
No.
When's the last time you saw a UPS commercial? Never.
Yeah.
They just put stick their shit on NASCARs.
Exactly.
How effective is that? Oh, look, it's the poo-poo people are sponsoring Dale Jr., Gephardt Jr., whatever the fuck. Stop wasting my money. I know what you do.
That's right.
I'm serious. I feel upset about this.
I can tell.
I was like, Oh, but I do know one thing. I'm not sending anything highly valuable through USPS.
That is true.
Because I'm sure it's not going to get there on time or without damage. And there's nothing you can do about it.
No.
Good luck. I mean, good luck getting the USPS to... We had a package that ended up damaged at our house, right? The USPS just kind of... It was literally a swing set.
Oh, wow.
And
Was that the one that got dropped off?
I know. They just dropped it off and just threw it on the garage. Literally threw it on the driveway.
Yeah.
Pieces everywhere. They took no care whatsoever with this package. But I cannot do anything about it. There's nothing I can do because there's no one to talk to. If you call somebody, they're not even in the United States, and you call somebody, and then they're like, "I'm sorry, sir. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?"
This is true.
Oh, here comes the FBI to talk to Bryan about mentioning pipe bombs. This is my big shot to get into the seat where Bryan is. Hi, Krissy.
Hi.
Hey, good to see everybody. Welcome,
Yes.
Podcast Universe, still flourishing. We're now at 10 users.
We might need your help with the Instagram page.
Instagram. I am an Instagram master. I have 2 posts and 7 million followers.
That's right.
Do you know how I did this?
How?
I faked them all. I've got a house that's full of phones and they're just running 24 hours a day, downloading podcasts and posting Instagram. Some people say, "Oh, you have a very nice podcast. It's #1 in the entire world. How do you do that?" It's a house full of phones. It makes so much sense and so much money. So I wanted to come on now. You're talking about the United States Postal Service. Where we are from, we also have a postal service. It's very good. Here's how it works. You stick package in middle of town square. Okay.
There's is there a big bin in the middle of this
Yes, big
house?
bin, and there is a town jester. With a hat with little bells on it, and he's singing a song. What do you call it? A mirtz? Or I don't even know what you call it. He's singing a song. Drop your package off here. Have no fear.
That sounds fun.
Your package will never get anywhere. So you drop it off in the middle of town, and then many donkeys will come and poop on their package.
Oh.
But this is part of the process. You got to understand. Once the package is pooped on, then it's ready to be it's ready for the next step in processing, which is typically an elephant that has been in service for many years in our country as the main postal delivery elephant. We tie it to the back of the elephant. We give it one good whack on the butt, and then we tell it to go
and it delivers the mail.
in a certain direction. So every 3rd month it's going north. Every 6th month it's going south. You just have to time it the right way. But this is, this very similar to the United States Postal Service in many different ways. I can't remember any of them, but it's very similar. So don't think that you're the only civilized country because you have some truck picking up your mail at the front of your house every day, blah, blah, blah. Basically, all it's doing is sending you Banana Republic mailers every 16 seconds. Who are these people? Why are they sending you so many catalogs? When is the last time you bought something from a Banana Republic catalog?
Yeah, it's been a while.
And Restoration Hardware? Fuck these people. They are sending entire volumes. It's like an encyclopedia.
Yeah, is a big catalog.
Restoration hardware. Please, they should call it restoration trees. Put them back up and stop taking them down. It's bad. So how have you been, Krissy? I meant to check in with you. I mean, I have been checking in with you, but I mean,
You have.
by phone. I want to talk to you because the camera's only one way. I can just see
You can only see what I'm doing.
That's right. But I'll tell you what, I like Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
He is a man who is hung like a Galapagos lizard. And I don't know if you've ever seen a Galapagos lizard.
I'll pass along that.
But they are dragging, if you know what I mean. Dragging in the sand. Galapagos lizard has, when you look at the tracks across the beach, is 4 little lizard prints and then 1 line following behind it. That's its Galapagos penis.
Okay.
Yes.
Learn something new all the time.
Tell Jeff congratulations.
I will tell him.
Wow, that's a winner. winner, chicken dinner. Okay, what do you think about that date now? It's been at least 3 months since I've been here. I've been trying to relax and say, hey, listen, give Krissy some time and some space. Just watch her through the video camera. Pick up some pointers from Jeff. His dick slapping ability is fantastic. He's on point. Look at that hose. Okay, so you want to go on that date?
I can't right now, but I'll get back to you.
Oh, so you're saying there's a chance. I like it.
Oh, they're here for Bryan.
I don't know. I think they're here for me. Okay, ciao. See you later. We at Podcast Universe, always here to help your ego. Bye-bye.
Oh,
Henry.
The Galapagos lizard.
Yes. Interesting.
Where did you come up with that one? Yeah, I'm just here. I'm trying to make things up, okay? All right? Give me a break. Oh, one other thing I wanted to talk about.
Yes.
Did you see that did you see about this nurse who was doing surgery on someone while she was in a courtroom?
I've heard about that. I saw a doctor, a plastic surgeon, was actually tuning in, doing a Zoom call.
This is
like while he was doing surgery.
I don't want my cashier doing anything but bagging my groceries at one time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
It seems dangerous.
Welcome to the fucking 2021 where the world has just lost its good ever-loving mind.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. In 2020, something happened called coronavirus. Don't know if you've heard of it. Look it up. Google it.
Yep.
And the whole world went into lockdown. But certain things cannot stop, no matter what. And one of those things happens to be court, because it's the way that almost every municipality across the country makes money. Mm-hmm. They fine you for traffic tickets or having pot or whatever it is. And then there's more important things like embezzlement, murder, and suicide. Suicide.
Yes.
I don't think you get
crimes.
I don't think you get charged for suicide.
Crimes.
I'm charging you with suicide.
Yeah.
So crimes.
Crimes. Yes.
So most municipalities now have some kind of Zoom courtroom where if you have to go to court, you have to go to court. You just show up at your own house. And there's been a couple funny incidences that have happened along the way. We've already denoted that I'm not a cat guy, right? Let's go back to that one. Where is he?
I'm not a cat.
You are, sir.
You have no authority here, Jackie.
Oh, that's a difference. That's a Zoom town hall. But we knew that the guy was a cat. The lawyer ended up having one of those filters on him, and he was trying to explain to the judge that he wasn't a cat. And I think the judge understood that from the get. But we know you're not.
Yes, we know that.
I'm not a cat.
It is really funny.
Wow. Bob, did you grow a tail and some fuzzy ears?
I'm not a cat.
No, sir, I'm not a cat. He was like scrambling to explain it. I should have asked Caroline Ray, the talking cat that was on their show.
Yep.
Anyway, so these courtrooms now have Zoom courtrooms where you have to show up via Zoom. Mm-hmm. And as you can imagine, this makes already probably very dramatic and wild situation even that more dramatic and wild, because now you have to try and coordinate everybody into this Zoom call, and then you have to make sure that the defendant and the plaintiff and all this other stuff, they have the same kind of rights that they would inside of a courtroom. And so what has been happening is people are doing Zoom court from very different and odd places. Yes. And one of those places is apparently the fucking operating room.
That is crazy.
Which is insane to me.
I know. I would be pissed if I was the person getting operated on. What in the world?
Unbelievable. Like I said, I don't want the girl at Disney World checking her phone when I'm getting on the ride. I want her checking my lap belt. I don't want the guy bagging my groceries to put the fucking dog food on top of the eggs. I want him paying attention. When I'm at a restaurant, nothing drives me crazy like a waiter that checks their phone. That drives me up a fucking wall. When you are at work, do not take a Zoom call that is not work related. Like when you're doing some kind of service for somebody else, don't fuck it up, potentially. Just don't be rude. Yeah. And then you're doing surgery on someone and you're
it's insane.
Take a day off.
I know, right?
Move the court
or at
case.
Least like an hour.
That's right. Don't you think the judge would understand?
Yeah.
I'm putting double D's in Mrs. Crockett over here. I need a couple minutes.
Yeah.
First of all, or alternately, Mrs. Crockett, I can't put your double D's in. It's plastic surgery. I mean, can't you move it back an hour?
Yes.
What if you drop the phone in there?
I know, it's nuts.
It's insane.
So were they in trouble?
I have no idea. But what's crazy? I mean, that part of the article didn't say what happened, what the consequences were. I don't think there is anything to be in trouble about.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I guess if you're in a 4-hour surgery, you know, like anything that we do for a long period of time, you're going to be doing other things or thinking about other things. Or when two surgeons are in a room and they're given, you know, they're doing a brain surgery of epic proportions for, 30 hours, these marathon long surgeries. They're not just focused on the brain for 30 hours. No one can concentrate on one thing for that long. They got to be having some kind of external conversation, right? I've been in a plane, flown a plane.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. I don't know why they let me do that, but I flew a plane. I was into it for a minute till I had children, and my wife told me no more of that shit.
Right.
I'll never do that. I'll be 90 before I'm able to fly a plane in Astrid's eyes. But I fly a plane, and guess what?
You were paying attention.
I was paying attention. My phone was nowhere near the steering wheel of the plane.
Exactly.
Because that's just the right thing to do. Now, there's lots of other electric equipment. There's even an iPad, but that's so you know what direction you're going. And so you don't hit the other fucking planes out there.
Yeah.
Right? But when I'm in the cockpit with someone else, like the coach, coach pilot, go Bryan, go. Land. I'll tell you a funny story about flying a plane, by the way. So when you do that, you have other conversations besides what's going on in the plane. You might say, oh, a nice day. Or, the girls are topless around that pool. Let's circle around that pool. Whatever, right? You have other conversations. I can understand that. I get that. It's just human nature. But going to court on a Zoom call while you're doing a surgery is the epitome of irresponsible.
Yes.
When I worked in McDonald's in my very first job, we did not have cell phones, but pagers were becoming a thing.
The beeper.
Beep, beep, beep. 143, star, star, star. That meant I love you, right? Or 20, that means I need a 20 bag. I mean, I didn't know that. It was just what I heard from my other drug dealing friends. But, there were codes that 911, call me back quick. Yes. Right. And that's the one you use to the drug dealer. 911, like your drug emergency is any worse than anybody else's. No, dude, I need it now. So the pagers come out, guess what? The number one rule was when you're on the floor of a McDonald's or cooking someone's food, you can't have the fucking pager.
No, it's distracting.
It's distracting. It's rude. Mm-hmm. You should be paying attention to people's food, not paying attention to some pager, some drug deal that you're doing. That's a side job. Do your side job on your side job. Now, you could go downstairs and make out with the hostess in the stock room. That was perfectly acceptable.
Sure.
Those were things that were allowed.
Right.
But a pager, no. Then when I worked at a fine dining restaurant as an adult, as a manager or whatever, I could not open my phone and start checking text messages in the middle of dinner. It's just not something that was appropriate. You never did it. You would be fired on the spot if you did something like that. You knew that. But in 2021, it seems that this is prevalent, that anybody can do anything that they want whenever they want. Everybody else be damned, including taking a Zoom call. Can you imagine being the person that was
No, that's what I was saying. I would be pissed. I would be so pissed.
Here's the worst part about this nurse. Now, doctors were giving surgery, but there was a nurse who was doing like a butt implant or something, a butt injection, and like butt injections, and they were on
them up?
I guess. So I just don't get it. But so this nurse was not there for a simple traffic ticket. She was there she was going to court for grand theft auto.
Really?
For stealing a fucking car.
Oh my God.
First of all, check your doctor's offices. I mean,
yeah,
I don't want my nurse to be up for grand theft auto while she's giving me butt injections. I just don't. She's like,
Grand Theft Auto.
okay, drop your pants. And while she's giving me a butt injection, she's lifting my wallet out and putting it back in her pocket.
Your
Grand
keys.
Theft Auto. Wow. That's a big one, right?
That is a big
That's
one.
one of those ones I think you go to jail for a long time.
Yeah.
Why
were they
is
doing
it-
a Zoom?
I don't know. Krissy,
to
I
get
don't
this
know.
resolved.
I don't know. And then I saw one where like a girl, it was a domestic violence situation. And so the girl was there to get a required restraining order.
Okay.
Meaning that the prosecutors, the municipality was asking that this restraining order be put into place, regardless of what the woman felt, and the abused woman. So they are in this courtroom. Now, this is not a funny story, so I'm not going to make light of it. But they are in this courtroom, in the Zoom courtroom, and the prosecutor, a sharp-eyed prosecutor. So now they've got the girl, they've got the man who abused her, right?
Yep.
And then they've got the defense attorney and his defense attorney, and then they've got the judge and the prosecutor, this sharp-eyed prosecutor.
Oh, right.
Lady, did you see this one?
I did see this one, yeah.
And the judge is asking the girl questions, and she's kind of hemming and hawing. Yeah, maybe, probably not. I don't know. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. And the sharp-eyed prosecutor catches her looking to the side every time a question is asked. She looks to the side, and she notices that the gentleman who looks like he's in a different location altogether, the guy who supposedly abused her, is either shaking his head or nodding his head.
Oh, wow. He was there
in
the room.
They noticed that this was going on, but very subtly. You can watch the video. It was very subtle. He was kind of like, he gave like a little, click of the jaw, right?
Whoa.
Or like a little head nod. And so he was coaching this woman on what to say.
Yeah.
And so the prosecutor says, Judge, I have reason to believe that Mr. So-and-so may be in the same house right now, and I fear for the safety. Is it okay? And she had already coordinated. While she was watching this happen, she was typing to the local police department
to get out there.
Who then was out knocking on the door when she said, I have reason to believe the sheriff's officer is out front. Can you please have both of them step out front?
Yeah.
And no shit, they were in the same room. They were in the same room.
Wow.
They were just across from each other. Sharp-eyed prosecutor. Mm-hmm. And, she was begging for him not to go to jail, and he was begging not to go to jail, and the judge was like, no, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, as well he should.
It's a wild, wild world we live in.
It is.
I'm telling you this right now. Let me give you a little story about flying a plane.
Okay, yes, do tell.
I am horrified of heights. Absolutely horrified.
Really?
I could not get up on the roof of my house right now, even though it's a relatively flat slope. I could not get up on the roof of my house right now without feeling a ton of anxiety. Now, I could do it, but it would give me a ton of anxiety.
Yeah.
Unrequited heights where there are no protections against falling, to me, is extremely upsetting I can't do it. You can ask Astrid. We went to the top of the Sears Tower, which I've been to before, right? And I don't like it, but it's a good view. And if I can stand a couple feet away from the window, I'm okay, right?
Yes.
But now they have this walkout thing where you walk out on the glass, and it actually cracked a couple months ago.
Oh my God.
Which is really, if that would have happened to me, Hoadley, I would never get on an elevator again.
No.
But we get up, we have to wait in line because there's only one, and everyone wants
Like
to take
a
a picture there.
viewing.
Yeah, and then they have a camera up top, and it takes a picture of you. You can lay on it, and lay on it. Get me away from it. Lay on it. You people fucking insane. Insane. So Astrid and I go up there. I'm dating Astrid at the time. Well, I get up there. And as soon as the person in front of us goes, I literally, my knees buckled. Like I literally kind of fell to the ground.
Wow.
And Astrid kind of had to pick me up. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I really want to do this with you, but it's just too much. It's like sensory overload.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, it's okay. So she steps out there and, brave her and look like a big vagina. And so, me and heights, right?
Yeah.
However,
were you facing your fears?
No,
By doing the
just
plane?
like my brother-in-law is a pilot or training to be a pilot, Danny, Gustavo's brother.
Yes.
And so he came to the United States to look at flight schools. And we went to a flight school here in Atlanta. And this wonderful flight instructor, his name was Rohan, right? Like a younger guy, and he has a international flight school, but he mainly deals with children, like teenagers getting their licenses.
That's perfect for you.
Perfect, right?
That's a
I am
to work with.
I agree with you. But we're talking, him and Danny are talking, and he says, and we've been to a number of other flight schools, and they basically just sit you down, they give you a package, they walk you around the school, they show you a plane, and, okay, see you later.
Yeah.
But this guy's like, you know what? the best way that we can know if we're going to work well together is to get up and fly.
Just do it.
Yeah. And so Danny's like, okay, sure. And he's flown before, right? He's been flying in Venezuela. Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, well, when can we do that? He's like, well, let's do it right now. Let's go. I got the plane available, whatever. And so we jump in the plane. I jump in the plane, right? And now I'm like, holy shit. I'm in this
plane.
4-person plane, right?
Yeah.
And we go up and
were you wearing a leather bomber jacket and some goggles?
No, but
that would have been great.
I have been in an open cockpit plane before, right? On the flight where you go around the city, right? Which was twice as scary as this plane because you didn't even know that plane had been certified for anything, let alone flight, right? It couldn't we sat on the ground for 25 minutes while the guy tried to start the engine. It was just like, I was like, looking at Astrid and she's like, and I'm like, I swear. And then they have this like tin floor, right? But the tin floor has like 2 big holes in it at the bottom where the metal meets. So you can literally see through the fucking floor.
Oh my God.
And you're 10,000 feet, it's not 10,000 feet, but 2,000 feet in the air. It's really scary. 2,000 feet, 10,000 feet doesn't fucking matter. If you fall, you're dying, right?
Yes.
So anyway, so back to the story. So we get up and he's having Danny fly, but Danny's flown before, but he's having Danny fly. This guy's
take
trusting
over the
Danny.
Controls.
He never touched the controls, but the real pilot never touched the controls.
Oh, wow.
He said, okay, checklist, okay, Baba, okay, this, let's talk to the guys, do the van, on a flight number 2 to 20, whatever. And then, and away we go, right? So then we fly up toward my part of town up north, and, we got a little space around us, and he's like, okay, let's practice some stalls. And I'm like, oh, no.
Were they cut off the engine?
No. Yeah. No. And so I'm like back there, I got the microphone, and I'm like, yeah. And this Rohan guy looks back at me. He goes, that's not for you, huh? And I'm like, bro, like if we could not do this part, I just would appreciate it. And he's like, oh no, we got to do this part. And I'm like, but what if the plane doesn't turn back on? He goes, it's like a car. Once you get going, you can always turn the plane back on. As long as the engine's working. And I'm like, exactly. So we do some stalls. I shit myself a couple times, and then and then Danny lands the plane, and I'm like super impressed.
Yes,
I'm like, holy shit. Well, I get fascinated with this over the next couple of weeks. I am fascinated by this whole flight experience. So Bryan picks up the phone. He calls old Rohan. He says, hey, listen, I'd like to do this. I'd like to learn how to become a pilot. Show me how.
Yeah.
And so Rohan says, come on down. We'll have a little speech. So I came on down. And I kind of knew it was coming, but he says, the best way you and I get to learn each other is just let's get out there and fly. And I'm like, you know what? Okay. Just no stalling, right? He goes, nope, no stalling. We won't do any stalling today. You and me, let's take a flight. Mm-hmm. So we go, it's, beautiful day outside here in Atlanta, blah, blah, blah. And we get in the plane and he goes, okay, take out your checklist. And I'm like, take out my what? He's like, take out your checklist. And I'm like, checklist. He's like, right there. And I take out the checklist. He's like, okay, let's go through your checklist. He's going through this checklist, and I'm like, and he's like, okay, press that button. That's this, but you actually turn on your altimeter and blah, blah, blah.
And you had never done this before.
Never.
Wow.
And so he's like, okay, I want you to call to the tower, and this is how you say it. Well, I've worked in radio before, so calling to the tower part was one shit I could understand, right? Yeah. And I'm like, Delta 443, this is Avian 345, should we come through CD? And then the guy, and he's like, we take a runway M, does it say? I'll clear for takeoff, and I'm like, this is cool, okay? And then he's like, okay, let's go. And I'm like, okay.
And then you did it.
No. And then I was like, I have my hands up, and he's like, no, you let's go. Put your feet on the thing. You drive with your feet. And so we go, right? And then we do this, and then we do another checklist. You pull off to the side. You do another checklist, just like to do with the big plane. Uh-huh. And then all of a sudden he has me line up, and I'm like, clearly. He's not going to let someone fly a plane that's never flown a plane. Yeah. That's against all common sense. He's just like, he's letting me do the, the cool, he's letting me do the cool part. Yeah, go through the motions. Yeah. Get used to it. These are the things you have to learn in order to fly, right? But I'll fly and I'll show you what it's like. And then when, later on down the road, you get to fly too. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so we position ourselves on the runway, and he goes, okay, so what I'm going to have you do is I want you to call to the tower and get you cleared for your final takeoff. And then you're just going to hit that real quick. And we're looking for this number. And then you're going to pull back on the yoke. And I'm like, no. So I go, no, Rohan. And he's like, Bryan, fly the plane. And I'm like, I can't fly the plane. And he's like, the good news is once you get up there, it really flies itself. You just have to pay attention to 2 parts, getting up off the ground and getting back down. And I'm like, you're not going to let me land. And he's like, let's not even worry about that part yet. He's like, I probably won't let you land. So I'm like, oh my God. But I'm like, what do I do now?
Pumping.
Yeah. My adrenaline is like, Hoadley, my head is probably so
You're
red.
Sweating through your bomber jacket.
I'm sweating. I probably have shorts and sandals on, and I'm like flying this plane. I think I'm going for a chit chat with Rohan, and here I am at the end of the Peachtree fucking terminal, getting ready to take off in a Cessna. I'm like, holy shit! And so so I'm like, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, ready for takeoff. And he's like, clear for takeoff, go up 10 degrees, and right, turn to the right. And he's like, okay, so that means you're going to head up, and then you're going to fly to the left. And he's like, okay, go. And I'm like, oh, so I press the little thing, and he's like, go, all the way. And I'm like, ah. And then we're just riding down the runways. Keep it straight. Holy, this thing is going all over. Like, I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm like a fucking
I can only imagine.
teenager that just drank a bottle of Golden Grain going all over the road.
Yeah.
But then he's like, you hit 80, and he's like, okay, I want you to gently pull back on the yoke. Here's Bryan. And we go straight up. He's like, you're going to stall, flatten it out. And I'm like, ah. He's like, go up. And there's trees at the end, and I'm like, ah.
Oh my God.
This guy is probably regretting the moment because my adrenaline's pumping so much. I'm just like yanking it back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm like, ah. So then we get up there and we're flying around, and I'm like, how did you let me do that? And he's like, how else do you think you're going to learn? He goes, what do you want me to do? Sit on your lap? And he's like, when someone taught you how to drive, what did you do? And
I guess I would have thought there would have been like a simulator or
me
something.
too. Well, I think there are. It's not Rohan's style. And then he let me land the plane on the very first time I ever flew, which if you've ever flown, and I only know this because I did a number of hours in air. I only know that landing is absolutely the most dangerous part of any flight, right?
Yes, it is.
Taking off and landing, but landing is way more dangerous than taking off. Taking off is easy. If you can hit airspeed and you can pull back, you're probably going to go up in the air, or you can at least, stop somewhere down the runway.
Yeah.
But landing, there's only one way to do landing, and that's to do it right.
That's the tricky part. Yeah.
And I landed it, and I was never so scared in my entire life. Never. And my landing was much better than my takeoff, but it still wasn't all that great. We were kind of.
Oh my God.
I can only imagine. They have a big like a restaurant at the end of that.
They do.
At the end of the runway, right?
Yeah, I've been to that place.
It's wonderful. It's this little airport, and you have a lot of commercial traffic for private jets and stuff in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And they have this wonderful restaurant, big patio. You can listen to the
fun.
people talking on the. You can have little headsets and listen. But you watch all the planes coming in and going on these two different runways. Well, they probably saw this guy just skipping down the. Like a duck, like a duck with one wing, like. Oh, it's Bryan.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, you get to hear the guy on the the guy in the tower. Tell me, is everything okay?
Right.
This is one of
We got a newbie.
Yeah, this is SL444. Everything's okay. Can you please have fire and medical waiting at the end of the runway?
Right, exactly.
Roger that. 6. He's scared of heights. Oh shit.
I can't believe you did this.
Holy, it was the most unbelievable thing. Like, people who know me, who really know me, can't believe that for 1 second that I actually flew a plane, or that I actually once skydived.
All right, I remember that. Yeah.
There's a video of that.
Yeah.
We think Nico's a ghost? Check me out 5 seconds before I jump out of an airplane. The guy basically had to drag my lifeless body and push it out of the airplane.
I would be the same
I was
way.
like, no.
Yeah, I would be the same way.
I did it on a dare. Kevin was like, because I called them and they're like, all the brothers are at the skydiving place. And I just happened to call them on a Saturday afternoon. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're all here at the skydiving place. And I'm like, what the fuck? You don't even think to give me a call? And they're all laughing. They're like, please, Bryan, we're skydiving.
Right.
You can't even climb a ladder. What do you think skydiving? And I just got upset at that. And I was like, I would skydive if you guys would have asked me. And Kevin's like,
well, get down here.
Yeah. Get here or never happened. He's like, and then he called me back 3 minutes later. He's like, I already paid for you. And I'm like, you
gotta
what?
go now.
I already paid for you. You got to be here now. Come on. You got 45 minutes to get here. And no shit that they pushed me out of that airplane. Oh. I screamed like a little woman. Like Mia. Like a teething Mia.
Yeah.
And that was before the plane took off.
Were you glad you did it, though?
That was like when I was on the ground practicing. Was I glad I was dead? I'm glad I survived.
Yeah, me too.
I think I might do it again under the right circumstances, but I have children now, so it's absolutely asinine to be flying a plane when you're scared of heights and jumping out of out of that same airplane when you have children.
Yeah.
And by the way, your insurance does not cover, life insurance did not cover pilots, student pilots. They just won't do it.
Yeah.
So
Well, there you go.
TCBpodcast.com is where you go, and you can find our entire library, audio or video, at The Commercial Break on Instagram. 470-584-8449. We will get back to you. It may take us a day or two. And at The Commercial... Did I say at The Commercial Break on Instagram? I think I said that.
Yes.
Then go to Clubhouse. We're going to be sending all kind of links and invites. Make sure you make it, if you can, to Bill Burr on May 2nd in the Comedy Podcasts Club. And then we'd also love to see you at Stephen Wright on the 9th, and then Susie Essman on the 16th.
Yeah. Each Sunday
At
9.
9. At 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. If you need an invite or you don't understand what the fuck we're talking about, just DM us, and someone from our staff will get back to you.
Yes.
Someone from our staff.
Brian.
This guy. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's me. Okay, well, listen. I don't know how much more I can talk about today. It's the middle of the afternoon. I'm like, tonight. I'm already tired.
Yeah.
Until next time. Bye.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings. How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
The Commercial Break. New episodes on Tuesdays and now Fridays. New YouTube clips drop daily at youtube.com/The Commercial Break. Visit tcbpodcast.com for access to our entire media library. Follow us at The Commercial Break on Instagram and join the Commercial Break Club on Clubhouse to join in live recordings. Each episode is written and produced by Brian Green, co-hosted by Krissy Hoadley, with additional content provided by Tina Cano.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings. How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.